And on today's show, on Funky Fridays with YAYA, we have Acantha Lang. Thank you very much for joining the show, Acantha. So pleased to have you on. Very exciting. Acantha is a souls and blues singer primarily, but obviously you do a lot of funk as well, don't you? And particularly with your latest single, He Said, She Said. That's a very, very funky tune. So you were born in New Orleans and you apparently moved to New York City. And you ended up headlining your own weekly blues show in Harlem, apparently. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? You had some amazing session players who worked with you.
Yeah. It was a wonderful kind of like experience. And I would say the start of my musical career. Because before that, I hadn't really had an experience, like long-term experience on the stage. I had stage fright that I had to get over. But my ex-boyfriend at the time had a restaurant that he opened up in Harlem. And he had a stage and it was a supper club, and we came up with this idea to go back to my roots and revisit the blues, and so we came up with this Monday night blues residency, and he put this band together for me, and it ended up being this wonderful just kind of like, I called it my rehearsal ground. For 3 years I was backed by some of the best musicians in New York, and we just did hardcore blues, and that's how I started developing my sound and my stage presence. And yeah, it was just a wonderful time. And
then you moved over to London. What made you move to London?
So from the place was called the Harlem Grill. From the Harlem Grill, as we built the night over 3 years, I believe, there was so many tastemakers in the audience that used to come, and there was one guy who had a magazine, a New York magazine, and he was throwing this launch party for his magazine at this unknown new club downtown New York. Because Harlem is uptown. This was downtown New York. And it was called The Box. And I ended up doing this guy's magazine event with my band at the time. And they hired me to be the house singer and eventually the MC of this crazy nightclub cabaret show. And they opened up a club in London. And so that's how I got over, they flew me over to London and to take over the London club. Yeah.
And since then, you've obviously just been working on your own is you eventually going to have an EP together, or are you, this is obviously, you've got your third single coming out on the 30th of March, is that correct? 30th of April, sorry. Today. Yeah, today. It's out right now, yeah. Absolutely. And that's called Whatever Happened to Our Love. Now, is that a soul, or is it bluesy, or is it funk, or is it?
It's I would call it a mid-tempo, funky track. All of my stuff has elements of blues in it, because that's my core. Lots of soul and a little bit of fun and funk. And yeah, I wrote that song while I was in New York City many years ago, and I changed up the lyrics a little bit, gave it a different feel, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to play it today, so everyone will get to see and hear it. Well, they won't get to see it. Obviously, they'll get to hear it. Maybe sort of see it on you'll be putting it on your Twitter page or putting it on your sort of TikTok or anything. Where will we get to see that as well?
So it'll be out. It's out on all streaming platforms. So also YouTube. You can see listen to the audio on YouTube.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's all that today. So we'll be able to see that today. Yes.
Yeah.
So you've been also doing a few little showcases as well, like on Guest House Live and things like that. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? What that involves? Is that just during the COVID period that you've been using that as a platform to showcase some of your work, or?
There has been loads of different platforms popping up to support artists during this limited, COVID thing during the COVID, because we can't perform live. So I've had, maybe I could count like 6 different live stream platforms that are trying to, collaborate and do live streams. Yeah. So Guest House Live came through an American based performing rights organization called CSAC. And and so they partnered up with Guest House to showcase a couple of their artists, and so I was on I think 3 artists at a time, and I was one of the artists.
And how do you feel that goes? I mean, because a lot of sort of artists some people are sort of doing the live stream, some people aren't. I mean, I saw the brand new Heavy Say put on a particular live stream event at the Jazz Cafe on February the 14th, and they had around about 850 people sort of attending that event, which was quite good, really. So it's quite considerable, considering I think some of the Ronnie Scott's events were getting around 150 to 300 views. So that was quite a good view. And I think putting on a particular event, you know, like that, but it takes a lot of effort, doesn't it, from an artist's point of view, to put on a live stream of that nature and that big, doesn't it? So yeah,
it's a lot of tech. You know, when you go and you do a proper live stream, there's a lot of tech going on behind the scenes. Like,
but I think that's going to be happening a lot. Yeah. No, I know. I think everyone's discovered that, haven't they? That actually nowadays you've got to sort of have the proper people sort of doing this live stream event. People are paying money for it, so I think, you know, it's all got to be done right. You've also got a really good. I had a look today, actually, a Spotify playlist called "Gotta Have Groove and Soul." So you've got around about 15 tracks in there, I think, at the moment. Are you going to increase that? Because I love going on to artists' their own playlist and seeing what really sort of, you know, floats their boat as such, you know. And you've got a bit of Ben King on there, Betty Wright. You've got MF Robots as well, sort of brand new heavies, sort of, you know, Dawn Joseph and Yan Kincaid, a bit of Rita Franklin, and so I was having a little listen to that, thinking, oh, yes, it's great. I love it. And on TikTok, you have you have a sort of little section called songs that you're singing from different artists, and you've got Norah Jones and Nina Simone, Bill Withers, Stevie Wonder. I'm loving that as well. So so you're across a lot of platforms as well, aren't you? Also on YouTube and such like. Yeah, so we all need to be there now, don't we?
yeah. I mean, you gotta things are always changing with the social media and how and the reach independent artists can get on these platforms, and you have to kind of, you know, stay with the times. I know a lot of my musician friends, they're very anti like learning a new platform. I'm all about like what's happening, what's next, you know, and I try to kind of find my voice on the platform. A lot of these platforms, if you look at them from the outside, they can be very intimidating or like even annoying. And, you know, for instance, like TikTok, a friend of mine who's in the music business, a mentor, said, you know, are you on TikTok? I was like, nope, I'll never be on TikTok. Don't, it even sounds horrible, TikTok. Like, no, that's for kids. And now, 20 videos in, you know, got 900 followers on there, and I'm understanding the platform and how, you know, it actually can amplify my voice as an artist and broaden my reach. So yeah, I'm on all platforms. I try to. Absolutely. There's so many popping up though. Yeah.
And I think sort of Gary Vee said, you know, you've got to be on TikTok, even though a lot of people think it's for the young, you know, the very young teenagers as such. I think, you know, it is a platform that we've got to be on. I think you've got to be your own artist on there as well. I think it's very easy to fall into the category of like everyone does this on TikTok, but actually sort of try and sort of, as you said, find your own way of sort of communicating what you want to on those particular platforms and staying true to yourself. So you've got a couple of great sort of shows coming up, which I really, really want to come to. You've got your debut show at the Jazz Cafe on the 7th of June. So that's actually been postponed, hasn't it? That was postponed from last year, was it? Or
like 3 times it's been postponed. Yeah. So it was supposed to happen in December, then I had a February date, then I had a May date, and then all the lockdowns. So I'm crossing my fingers that the June date will go ahead. And I think it's going to be a very special night, because I know I'm talking to a couple of my friends and fans and who have bought tickets, and they're like, man, I haven't been at a show since March of last year, kind of thing. And they're like, I'm going to cry, you know. And I said, I think it's going to be emotional for us all. I'm looking forward to it.
I think so. I think the last show I went to was at Boysdale, and it was to see the brand new Heavies in February. At the time, I didn't realize it was going to be my last one. And I did try to go see them in November and December, and they both got cancelled. So I missed out by 2 days on the November one. And then I was like, I'm definitely going to be able to make it. Definitely. It's going to go ahead. And it got cancelled. And I was absolutely, as you can imagine. So absolutely gutted. But you're also at Boysdale as well. So you're not at the Canary Wharf. You're at Belgravia, aren't you? Is that your debut show there as well? Have you been to Boysdale before?
I've been to Boysdale. I've done smaller gigs there, like more so on the cover side, not so much. I do a few originals, but it's mostly like some of my favorite soul covers, and it's a very stripped back trio. Myself, my guitarist, and my keyboard player.
Excellent.
I like.
So you've got a couple of shows there as well, haven't you? So they're on the 16th and the 30th of June as well. So so I'm quite. I don't know. Are there tickets still available for that or not?
I believe so. It's Yeah, I think so. I haven't been checking the numbers, but I think so.
I just had a look actually, because the brand new Heavies gigs are actually sort of sold out, and then they've got another one on the 21st. So I think people have to get in sort of quite quick, don't they? Because I think at the moment the tickets won't last for very long, will they? So even though there might be a few, they go like that suddenly, don't they? I think when people realise actually we are going to be coming out of lockdown, it is actually really going to happen. The tickets are going to be flying out the door.
Absolutely.
Do you have any other festivals or anything else that you're planning on doing this year, or anything else you'd like to tell us about?
So festivals, not so much. I am in talks with a promoter, when things start getting, back to normal. We'll talk about having some bigger dates, I guess, down the line. But for now, it's mostly, got the Jazz Cafe, Boysdale, and then I'm a resident. I'm one of the house singers at the Blues Kitchen. I don't know if you heard about those venues.
No. Tell us what about that. How are you there monthly, or are you there sort of weekly, or?
So I'm there weekly usually.
Yeah.
So you could just check the website. I'll play with a house band there, and they're opening up one in Manchester. So mid-May, when things kind of partially open up, I'm flying off to. We're driving up to Manchester to open up the Manchester club.
Wow, how exciting is that? And I think that's the thing, is that a lot of sort of artists are trying to have residencies, because it just actually sort of makes it, a little bit easier for them on a regular basis to know where they are. I think if you haven't got the festivals, I think things are changing a lot, aren't they, in the whole sort of, the whole world of music. So I think that's all I've got sort of to ask you today. Unless you want to tell us anything else that you've got going on, Acantha.
Oh God, So I'm releasing my third single is out today, everywhere, and I plan on releasing an album later on this year. So if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, the best way is just follow me, sign up to my newsletter on acanthalang.com. And on my social media, I'm everywhere, like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
Yes.
And
it's just under Acantha Lang, isn't it? So literally, if you search up Acantha Lang on Twitter or YouTube or IG or your website, you will find Acantha there. And today we're going to play Whatever Happened to Our Love. We're also going to probably play He Said, She Said, because we played that a few weeks ago, and I absolutely love that track. So it is so funky, and it's definitely the sort of songs that we like to have on this show. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to hopefully catching you maybe at Boysdale or maybe sometime at the Jazz Cafe. Thanks so much for coming on, Acantha. Take care.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.